Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back to the 10-Minute Planner, where we talk about events all the time. Hello, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Okay, so much to talk about. Definitely want to update you on what's going on with Simply Elegant Events, and where we are currently right now. We have a great topic for our industry moments. And then the client corner. I'm so excited to talk about this. Um, Stick around. The client corner today is gonna be why guests leave early, how to stop it. That's important. Okay. You ever did an event and everybody's just leave? We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. But first, let me go into about Simply Elegant Events and what we have going on. Now, today the setup is kind of funky and you just got to bear through it because this is one of those moments where it's like, shoot, I need to record something. Makeup, I wasn't feeling it today. Throwing a black Tenley, and let's get to it, right? So we're gonna excuse the appearance for a second, but the skincare though, she popping up. She always is popping. Just saying. When your skin is right, you don't need the makeup. You don't need it. Okay, anyway, side note. That was a side note. So for Simply Elegant Events, where we are right now, we are currently transitioning from social events, weddings, things like that, to corporate experiences centered around community engagement. I'll say it one more time. Corporate experiences centered around community engagement. What does that mean? We help brands, companies come into the community and leave a lasting impact. Particularly, we are focusing on wellness, fitness, and lifestyle brands. I don't think I've shared the true start of Simply Elegant Events. If you have not known, I'm going to go into it. So, Simply Elegant Events, I started this company because I felt a serious um, need or gap that people in their personal lives were not being celebrated the way that they want to be celebrated. Now, yes, this is a third world issue, right? I get it. But also too, I do feel like it's important. Life is hard, right? And I don't care how easy you got it, you're dealing with some challenge at some point in your life. That's what life is. And on top of that, everybody has an idea, a feeling, a connection, a communication, a preference for all these things that they like, right? So imagine if it's your birthday and you love to travel, but everyone throws you birthday parties around your dining room table every year. And that's what someone is doing for you. And to some people, it feels selfish because you know that they're pouring love into you. That's the way they are doing it, but that's not what you want for yourself, right? So it almost feels selfish to say, hey guys, this year I'm going to Bali for my birthday. Okay, bye. See you in a week. And they're like, what? You're not going to celebrate your birthday with. And I know it sounds crazy. It sounds crazy, but more people, put aside their needs more than you know. And I saw a lot of people do this. And I'm like, if you want to do X, Y, and Z, do the X, Y, and Z. Like, celebrate yourself. And also on top of that, it was a lot of moms, parents, um, people who have close ties to family, where there's some traditions in there that hinder or you felt hindered to celebrate yourself, how you wanted to be celebrated. Um, so with all of that being said, I realized that people were not celebrating themselves the way they wanted to be celebrated. So that's why I created Simply Elegant Events. Is whether they didn't have the means to do it, whether they didn't have the know-how to do it, whether they didn't have the courage to do it. And that's kind of the gap that I filled, right? Where my client will come to me and say, hey, we want to do X, Y, and Z, or I want to do this for my birthday. You know how many clients You know how many clients I got where it's like, I want to do this for my birthday, but I know so and so in my family is gonna have an issue with it. So and so in my family is I just don't want to deal with that person. And honestly, a lot of wedding planning is the same thing. Hey, I gotta invite cousin Sarah, but cousin Sarah is a bi. Okay. And I don't want to deal with her. Right? This is my day. I don't care what she thinks. Da, da, da. Those conversations are so often in social events that I was like, yep, this is right up my alley. You don't want to, I will be the bad guy for you. Don't you worry. Blame it all on me. Because honestly, I don't got to see cousin Sarah after. You know what I'm saying? So I want you to be celebrated the way that you want to be celebrated. And that's why I created Simply Elegant Events. There's some other things behind it, but I'm not ready to share that yet. So also too, um, with the birth of my company, I started doing the social events. I started doing the weddings and marketing myself towards that. I started getting those clients in, and it was great, and decor and all those things. It was really great, and I'm honored and blessed that people trusted me and they wanted me to be a part of their big moments. So then, so then, um, I went to a TD Jakes Woman Thou Art Loose conference, right? And Nona, I forgot her last name, but Nona was speaking and she was so profound. She is such an amazing speaker. If you don't know her, look it up. But she was talking about something about dream. Like, what is your goal? Like, if you didn't have to worry about nothing, money, housing, kids, your, you know, judgment, nothing, what would you be doing on this earth to make it better? And I looked over and looked at my friend at the time and I said, listen, I would love to do community events and get paid for it. That's what I said. And lo and behold, now we are making that shift to do community events and getting paid for it. So that's where we're at right now. And when I say, corporate experience is centered around community engagement, that could be employee engagement days. That could be you know, a CSR, social impact initiative that a company wants. I mean, I could even do a holiday party, honestly, if the company needs that. Like I'm not only centered on community. Like if you need something else, I can go ahead and help you with that, but I am also I am focusing my marketing and my efforts on, you know, community events. Because honestly, I do feel like the community always needs it. In terms of um, corporations, right? The community pays and subscribes and pours in their funding of their hard-earned money into these companies. And I do feel like the companies need to give back. Also, when a company gives back, right? Oh, this is lined up perfectly for industry moments today. But when a company gives back, honestly, their profit increases. So I'm not just saying that, oh, you need to pony up and we're gonna play Robin Hood and all this stuff. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that it's smart for a company to keep the community in mind, keep their community that they are asking for money from in mind and support them in ways that they need the support. That's why this is side note. That's why um a lot of like we're going to go politics for a second. But that's why when some companies come into different countries, right? Smaller countries like Caribbean countries and stuff, and they're really big names that want to be a part of it. That's why some politicians, if they're community centered, they would say, hey, listen, so what are you going to do for the community? Yes, you bring in this big business over here, want to charge all this money for lattes, all this money for fried chicken, all this money for whatever. What else are you doing for the community? Right? And even in America, like, your local towns and stuff like that, they negotiate with bigger businesses when they want to come into the community to say, I need you to give back and you need to do X, Y, and Z if you want to land your building here. Right? So don't think these conversations are not happening. They are happening. I just think that we need to be more vocal and more upfront about it, because what happens is there's some companies that slide into communities and they don't give anything from the community, like anything back to the community. They just want to go ahead and take your money, right? So we got to be mindset of it. And that's why this work that I do is important, because I do think if we lead with community first, then um we have better branding, you know? And it wouldn't be about hitting a bottom line. It would be about supporting the people who support you. So with that being said, this is a great segue to get into our industry moments. Yes. So, from transactions to belonging. That's what we're going to name this one. Yes, it's about community events. How event brands are being built on community, not just content. Okay. So, as we know, politically, economically, the industry has shifted from the last like 2 years. From 2 years ago to now, it's a different world. And we all know that we're feeling it in some kind of way. Everybody is feeling it in some kind of way. So we know it's all different, right? I'm just going to have my notes in front of me if you don't mind. I wrote it down for you, right? Um, so I think it's important to note that corporations and businesses, even your even if you're not in that market in terms of corporate events, if you're doing social events and stuff like that, want they want events that create loyalty and repeat engagement. Client, I'm talking about the corporations. They want events that create loyalty and repeat engagement, right? Not just a one-time attendance. So we're going to talk about what the difference is between the two. We're going to talk more about that, and we're also going to talk about what we do at Simply Elegance to avoid this, and what some people are getting right and what some people, are getting wrong. Okay? And that last part, I'm not going to say no names, but we're just going to keep our eye out and read between the lines and figure this out together. Okay? So, first, I want to talk about what does a community centered event actually look like, right? Versus what is branded as a community event, but it's really not. Okay? So I want to go twofolds with this, right? So what an actual community event is when you putting together an event or being a part of an event. But I'm going to stick with hosting, because being a part of, meaning you could sponsor and then you get to speak to all these people, right? But we're not talking about sponsorship. We're talking about owning and hosting your own community event. So what does that look like? That looks like planning something that the community that you are going to be in actually needs, doing your research, talking to government officials, talking to the community itself. What is it that you need, right? Also, making sure that the need matches your company's CSR initiative. It matches the company's goals, because we want it all to just be cohesive, right? If you're a fitness company and if you're not, because that could tie in. If you're a fitness company and let's say the company's the need for the community is a food insecurity. Like, I want to be in this space, in this community, celebrating these people, right? And one of the needs is a food insecurity. You're not going to bring in fried chicken and say, hey, we got a fried chicken sponsorship, da 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 da, because that's not a part of your fitness and wellness, right? We're going to give them good groceries so they can go home and make a good meal with the good groceries that you gave out to the community. We're also going to shower them with love, maybe with products, maybe with things that, they may need to continue their fitness journey at home. But then also, we're going to make sure that we, touch base with them. There's different levels. I'm going too fast. Hold on a second. Let me dial it back, right? So finding out what the community needs first, then making sure that their need matches what your company can bring, and you have to be creative. What your company is about, you have to be creative with it, right? To make it match, because it's not going to always be like a 1 + 1 = 2. Sometimes you got a 1x times 2 equals whatever. Sometimes you got to figure it out a little bit and do a little bit of thinking, and that's kind of where we come in, but I'm going to go in there for a second. Then it's implementing said thing that you were going to do for community with the community needs in mind, right? When you get to the implementation section, when you're doing it, the thing I want to ask you, do you remember the people's names? Do you remember the outcome of the event? Are you tracking the outcome, how impactful it was? Um, are you creating a lasting impact in the community? Can they follow up with your company after the event? Right? Is it something that, are you doing this community event? I'm going back to 2 now. Are you doing this community event because you want them to be a subscription provider, be a part of your subscription package, whatever, pay money towards you? Are you just genuinely giving people back, because like giving things back to the community because we are a part of your community, we care about you, we want to see you do better, right? The intention is very important. And I could tell you, people see when the intention is not there for community events. They can see that, oh, this company is coming in because they think, it's cool, it's a big name. They're coming into this space because they just want, oh, all right, let me go into this community. I get media coverage from it. My sales is going to boost. My stock market is going to boost. I'm going to have this. I'm going to have that. They think about what they can get off of the backs of the community. Wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong way of thinking. And it can, I see so many events and I could tell, oh, this was a money grab. Oh, they're doing that. Oh, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, going back to it, community need, matching your goals as a company to the community need, implementing said community need, and then having a actionable plan to keep in contact with said community. So that way, one, if you look at it from a profit standard, yes, because you help the community genuinely, they will come back and continue to support you because they want you to come out into the community again. And lastly, are you making sure that their needs are continuing to be met from the first jump, right? This is the cycle, 4-step cycle. That is what I look for when I say, oh, we're doing a community event. This is what we're doing. That's the 4-step cycle, right? Now, what typically gets branded as a community event is a pop-up shop. That's not a community event. That's for people to come out and spend money. Nobody remembers your name. Nobody remembers your face. You are not a part of a need. Like the company that is having the pop-up shop is not fulfilling a need for the community, no matter what they say. Oh, we're having a block party pop-up shop. We're having this da 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 shop. This is not a community event. It's a way for businesses to make money. I'm sorry if I had to be the bearer of bad news. You know how you go into the city sometimes, in New York City is popular out here by me, they'll do an activation. Activation is not a community event. It's centered in the community. It's an experience for the consumer. Listen to the words I'm saying. I'm saying it on purpose. It's an experience for the consumer to then possibly get a free product to say, wow, this moment was so great. Now, when I go into the store, I'm going to look for this brand because I had a really good moment with this brand a month or two ago at an activation. Activations are important. It's important for sales, but that's more as marketing. Are we are we catching? Are we picking up what we're putting down? Right? Activations are important. I have nothing against pop-up shop. I love me a good pop-up shop. Right? Love it. I love the experience behind it. I think it's great marketing to generate sales. That is what marketing is to generate, it's advertising, it's putting a brand in your face to generate sales. It's important. Okay. So we get the idea between the difference, right? The difference between an actual community centered event versus what typically gets branded as a community centered event, right? Okay, great. So now we're going to talk about how we do it differently, right? So I'm more, when I plan a community center event, we're leaning towards the four options that I mentioned before, or I had it this way. Yeah, options that I mentioned before. We're leaning towards these. And the reason why we're leaning towards that is because you make such a lasting impact, right? But also, too, how we do it here is we want the event to be seamless as if a budget was actually put into this event. The community can sense that. If you are doing a community event and you're doing all the things, you're making sure that you're listening to the community in terms of what they need, you're making your event match their need, then you're implementing an event with them in mind and you're following up with them after. You're doing all of that, but it looks like you set up a pop up table and nothing else. You're not really giving back to the community because when that company has their holiday party at the end of the year, you going like you have a roaming magician, a roaming photo booth, you got open bar, you got food, lots of food. So we want to have the same energy towards the community. We want them to feel celebrated the moment they walk through the rim of the door. You want them to feel like, dang, X, Y, and Z company went all out for me. This fair, this festival, this food drive, this clothes donation, this whatever we did, whatever we put together, dang, they went out all out for me. They provided entertainment. They made this truly a celebration, and I felt celebrated in this moment. That is going to create, not for businesses who care about this part, but that's not going to only create a lasting impact on your bottom line. That's also going to create a lasting impact of the community's need, right? Especially in lifestyle, wellness, and fitness. I can't tell you how important this is because if you're just doing a donation drop, hey, we're giving out X, Y, and Z sneakers, meet us up here. You're going to get a line out the wazoo and you're going to have an interaction for 2 seconds. Somebody gets sneakers and that's it. Boom, done. Oh yeah, I got free sneakers at so and so. Okay, cool. But you giving out basketball sneakers. But are they playing basketball in it? Do they play basketball? I mean, are we really advertising the sneaker for the style or we're advertising the sneaker for the movement in the shoe? What is the shoe was designed for? Yeah, it was designed by, LeBron, right? But are we moving people in the shoe for what the shoe was designated for? Are we having a basketball or community? This is the community side of it. Are we having a basketball tournament where we are giving out shoes to the people who come into the event, who are participating in the event, and the people who are participating in the event get to also interact with some sport talk, host or actually meet an athlete or get a training, a one-on-one session with, not one-on-one, but like a group warm-up session with some basketball players. That you see how it went from, oh, we're just gonna give away sneakers to we're going to take 3-4 hours out of someone's day to create an event centered around them where they can sign up to get some physicality, some movement, the basketball tournament. The people who watch can get a voucher for to buy said sneaker, or they can get a voucher to, or get a free sneaker there, right? The people who participate in the tournament get a chance to work out with some professionals. They probably get a meet and greet. You could do a little host stands. And then on top of that, when you do that, right, in terms of like, oh, Shine, I don't have the dollars to put all this together. Your event is so centered around one thing, fitness, and tying into fitness is basketball. You're giving back to the community with the product that you have that you can also go to ESPN. You can go to different other companies, right? To get sponsorship to partner together to make this thing happen, to make it bigger than what it is. And it looks clean, it looks elevated, it looks elegant. But honestly, it's a simple basketball tournament with some give outs. You see how simple that is, but if you can sense the feeling and the importance of it right then and there. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. And that's how we would do it. You say, hey, we got this product we want to give away. We say, listen, okay, your product is X, Y, and Z. So this is what we're going to do. And I'll give you three options of some event ideas that I got stewing around in my brain. Um, and then we implement and we make it happen for the community. Um, okay, so some things I see that I wanted to say that are some people get right, some people get wrong. I'm not going to say no names. I personally work with a company right now. If you do research, you can figure it out. What they get right is that it truly is community centered events, right? And although they don't have the manpower to um, host the event, they look for events from other nonprofit, communities that are engaging in an event with ties to the community that matches their branding. And they are hands on in the planning, they are hands on in the execution, they are hands on, but they're not taking it over. That's another way to do it, where if a company doesn't want to say, hey, I want to build this thing from scratch, there's so many nonprofits, so many associations, so many organizations that are doing things already in the community. You could just attach yourself to it, and not attach yourself to it as in sponsorship. Attach yourself to it in terms of you are a part of the planning committee. You are donating X, Y, and Z items, but as a company, you still have your parameters that has to be hit. So you're making sure your parameters are hit. But then also too, it's a lasting impact in the community, because now your subscribers, even if they're not a part of that particular community, they're going to go ahead and say, wow, I'm a part of something that is constantly giving back, right? I'm going to support said thing that is constantly giving back, right? That's what I see that is done really well. I will say, um, other things that I'm seeing that is done really well are some galas, some sporting events, um, are really doing really well, really, really well. Um, I will say the thing that I see that is failing is that um, when companies do things and they don't think of they don't ask what the company need the community needs first, or they don't do the research to find out what the community needs and how it matches their brand. They just do stuff. They'd be like, oh, I got X, Y, and Z product, I need to move, I like donate it, right? It's tax write-off. We'll get the bump during holiday time in terms of like we were out in the community. It's a great marketing, a great we care ad. But there's no real how can I say this? I'm trying to say it so nicely. I really am. There's no real community atmosphere. Like I was describing with the sneakers, it's just kind of like here. Well, here you go. 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 And that's it. There's no real like community. You don't know nobody's name. You don't actually meet and get to talk to someone who have an impactful story. You don't know who you're helping. You don't know where these people came from. They just showed up. And you think it's a community event. Also, too, where a lot of people are failing is that you're, like I said before, you're branding community events, but it's really an activation set like that happened to be in a community. I hate the phrase community activation. The two does not go together. Activation is a marketing thing. Community is a community thing. Yes, activation can be giving something for free as an activation, but you're not getting to know the community that you're a part of. You're just giving the community something for free. So we really have to step away from that. If we're talking about the social side, like in terms of nonprofits with the galas and the galas, fundraisers, things of that nature to raise money, a lot of things that they're doing wrong is I laugh because I'm thinking about my history. And if you know, you know, but one is the poster child for those nonprofits that hit home in their sad stories. Like, I don't like, oh, and okay, I gotta make some notes because I'm meeting with somebody this week and I have to like, big him up because he did a documentary for a nonprofit. He did not make anybody a poster child of their situation. Chef kiss that man. But, um, yeah. So so a poster child, right? Having someone come from horrible circumstances, you could tell they're not fully healed from said circumstances, but you put them in front of a podium to talk about said circumstances, and they're up there boo-hooing, they're crying. It's a whole thing, right? And it brings down the mood of your event. It goes from being up here to down here, and it's like you're using this sad poster child to donate money. You know those commercials back in the day, 25 cents per day will save this kid and people would subscribe, call in, and every week they will get pictures of this child that they have saved with their 25 cents or $2 or whatever it was. That's so far removed from the community. We don't want those. That Stop doing that, right? You are doing great work. Let the work speak for itself. If a person is going through a messed up situation, this is especially for nonprofits. If a person that you helped is going through a messed up situation, leave that person out of it until they are ready to share their story. Don't have nobody in the midst of their trauma talk through what it is that they are going through or went through when they're not healed. Because to me, and I think I'm so sensitive about it because when nonprofits help out black, brown, disadvantaged communities, um, it's you got to look at the hands that are telling you the story, who are curating the story in the background. You got to look. Nonprofit could mean so good. It could be doing the greatest of works. But that just it oh man, that pisses me off so mad because it's like not everyone's circumstances like that. And then especially if you're talking about galas, if you're talking about fundraising, you're usually inviting the richest of the rich who don't necessarily interact on a day-to-day basis with okay, if you watch the video you see what I'm doing, but they don't interact with disadvantaged, like communities that have gone through things on a day-to-day basis, right? And if they do, the person is usually got out of that situation, is up on their caliber. We don't really, once we get there, we don't really want to talk about that no more. You know what I'm saying? So they're not interacting with the day-to-day on their day-to-day basis. You know what I'm saying? So then you put the poster child in front of a whole bunch of rich people, and then you're asking them to open their wallets because they have an insinuation that you're helping out the slums of the slums. It don't sit right with me. And I'm sorry I went on a little rant there, but it don't sit right with me. Okay? So let's start doing that. Bad taste. Bad, bad, bad. I need mouthwash now. Bad taste in my mouth. Don't do that. Don't do that. There's enough of a sadness that goes around in this world. People are going through things that are ready to talk about what they're going through, and they may not come from nothing. Literally, stop trying to find the person who's done, like not done, who's been through and has nothing, and then you want to pull them up. And I don't mind if you're ready to talk about it as a person, not me, but if you are a person who's been through that, I don't mind if you're ready to talk about it. But if you're not, and it took convincing, and it took editing, and it took this, and it took then leave that person alone. Help them find a therapist. Let them get through what they got to get through. Let them talk through what they got to talk through, and then go from there. Another thing I see that works but doesn't really work in terms of what grinds my gears is that when your story, or the person that you're getting to talk about your business and how impactful it was, or nonprofit, how impactful it was, does not move on. I'll explain. Non In terms of nonprofit side, right? When you have galas and when you're doing fundraisers, there's usually like a speech component. You have like a keynote speaker, you have all these people speaking, an honoree, all these things. And they usually put an example up there, which is what I was saying before, was like a poster child. But even if it's not, right? Another thing that I feel like doesn't really work and doesn't hit home is that if you, depending on what your nonprofit is, of course, but if your thing is like, I help people get X, Y, and Z jobs, I put them in X, Y, and Z industry. But your person that is speaking onto the good works of this nonprofit is not doing the said thing that you are designed to do as a nonprofit. Let's not have them talk. We need success stories up there. Um, and that looks like, I'm helping these people do this to be in this industry. But the person who graduated from, whatever program, or the person who went through the program, or whatever the case may be that the nonprofit put on, they currently work for the nonprofit. So it looks like low hanging fruit, but the low hanging fruit has a little worm out the side. It doesn't give that message like, oh, this program actually works. You went into this program for this, and this nonprofit helped you with that, and then you work here in this industry that you said you the nonprofit was supposed to. It's not making sense. It's not making sense. So let's not do that. And I'll give you one more because I could go on the pet peeves. Actually, no, let's end it on a good. I'll give you one more good. Let me think. Good. I promise I'm gonna end it on a good. Let me think real quick. A good thing that I see brands and nonprofits do. A good, you know what? Forget that. I'll end it on this. We need more. Okay. Nonprofits who are in the community, we need more. And I know finance is limited. I know there's challenges that come from that. Brands, corporations, we need more in the community. We need to see that you guys actually care. And I'm not going to threaten Target, but Target. So, communities, we need more. We need more community events. We need more community centered events, right? And when you truly care about the community, and if you as the CEO, whatever, you personally don't care, that's fine. A corporation has its own soul, right? So you just need to find a body part in the corporation that cares. And it can't be the big toe, pinky, or little digit like this. It got to be like something significant, like an arm. Give us an arm, and you'll do so much in the community. I promise you. And the community is at the center of your heart in this corporate, like in this world, in this day and age. And if you say, my corporation, community is our heart, God bless your soul. You will forever be good, and I promise you that, because giving back only gets you more. All right, so I'll get off of that because we're severely over time, and clearly I'm very passionate about the community. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to the client corner. All right, let's lighten this up a little bit. Whew, I got dark. Whew. That got dark real quick. Okay. So, client corner, right? Why guests leave early and how to stop it. I did promise this to you. This is going to be it's going to be good. This is more so educational purposes. If you're listening to this point, client corner is more so for actual clients who are looking to make an impact in their own events when they're planning their own events. Maybe you can't afford a planner. Maybe you can't, afford my services. But I'm here to help, right? So if you piece in all these videos together in the client corner sections, you'll be able to do something different. So why guests leave early? People, when they come to your events, that people come for connections, right? Not just the content. Where did I say that for? If they don't feel it early, they drift and they're like, all right, cool, this is over. It's a wrap. Usually you see this when, like, on Instagram, there's this thing going around where it's like, oh, DJ's playing my song, right? They're out the door. They're about to open and be outside and they hear their song, they come running back, right? Why were they leaving in the first place? If you could hear your song playing and run backwards to the dance floor from leaving, that tells me that you were over it at some point and the DJ was taking too long to play good music, right? So it's things like that. So they want a connection. They want to feel something. They want to feel something at your event. Now, I'm going to preface this, right? By saying I was just talking to my friend the other day and we were talking about weddings. We were talking about weddings and we were talking about she was saying that basically people get surprised when people say no kids at a wedding, right? And I'm like, yeah, I agree there should be no kids at a wedding, right? I don't think a wedding and a funeral, unless the kids are directly close to the bride and groom, is a place. I said it. I'm sorry. It's not a place for kids. It's not. It's cute. Kids running around but it's not a place for kids. It's about the bride and groom. And what happens is that kids are innately selfish. I have kids, so I can say that. Kids are innately selfish, so they make it all about them. Right? And it's fine. That's what kids do. They make it all about them. They take away the limelight. It's another level of babysitting and watching over kids next to drunk adults. That's not a good that's not a good mix. So there's always some issues that come from or funny moments that come from it, right? But we were saying that um she was saying that people can't understand why, people get mad that there's a no kids wedding. And I was like, speaking as a parent, I don't think in a event planner who's also done weddings, a lot of weddings before. I don't think it's that people are upset that it's a no kids wedding. I think it's more so they're upset at most people have their weddings around a holiday where it's an extended weekend, so the kids are not even in school. So now the said parent, the guest, right? The parents then have to go ahead and find a babysitter for all daycare, like all day, right? So like 8 hours, 9 hours into the wee night, because most people have their wedding in the afternoon to the evening, right? So you have to find a babysitter for this whole time because the person decided they want to have their wedding Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sometimes Monday if it's a holiday, around a school off day, so Memorial Day, 4th of July, whatever, whatever, because it's convenient for the said couple. And what happens is that there's an added pressure. So now, as your guest, I'm coming to support you for your wedding, but now I have to spend all this money for childcare, and I have to, make sure I look good, put myself together, and get out the house, right? Now, the other preference is, oh, why don't you leave it with a family member? So what if your family member is the one who actually is getting married and you're saying no family, no kids? Then your whole family, your support system is going to this wedding. So you're going to have to pay the money to find somebody to watch your kids, right? Now, I think that's a high level of the reason, right? Um, of that. But imagine you do all that work to get to someone's wedding. You're traveling, right? Because people ask you to travel. Oh, this is a whole topic for another time, but you're traveling to get there. You are putting money into yourself to look good, to smell good, to feel good, to dress good, to do all the things to get to the person's event. They get there and there's nothing to do. There's a whole bunch of people waiting around. Entertainment is not really that good. Cool, you may have somewhere for me to take a photo, but once that 5 second photo is over, I have nothing else to do. And it's just boring. And that goes across for all events, weddings, whatever, whatever. I know I started talking about weddings, but I'm moving over to everything. There's no connection. There's no like, and then also for event, you can't just say, "Oh, cousin Sarah, whatever, whatever, is gonna go ahead and." You can't really say that because once I say hello to cousin Sarah, I haven't seen in 20 years. We ain't got nothing else to talk about because I haven't seen her in 20 years for a reason. You know, you get what I'm saying? So there's no connection. There's no like individual tie. There's no uniqueness to the event. There's no captivating pull. There's no like aha moments. There's no nothing. The next reason that people leave early is because the energy is dipped. There's too many dead zones. You could feel when the program is switched. You ever been at an event where it's like, let's get ready for the next thing. You ever felt that as a guest at an event? It's like, okay, cool. What's the next thing? It's always, it's a good event where it's like, oh, we gotta go over here now. I'm having such a good conversation. The music is so great. Are you sure can I stay for five? That's how you want it to feel, where it's like the guest seamlessly is moving into the next thing without you knowing it being a next thing. Right? Um, so yeah, no warmth, no direction. There's the energy dip, and that's why people leave with that energy dip. People are like, okay, the party's over for me. Let me head out. Oh, DJ's playing my song. They come back, right? Um, Hunger, fatigue. I got what I came for, and the exit, right? Um, yeah, you don't have food at your events. People are gonna leave early. You have your event is ending at 3 a.m. started at 9 p.m. People are gonna leave early, right? And this is different from a nightclub where we know shit is gonna go late. Um, but if you're doing like a birthday party, a wedding, or whatever, and you start at 9 o'clock, and then you put until 3, expect people to show up at 11. Okay, 11, 12 o'clock. Because okay, anyway, we old now. Once, if you telling me something starts at 9 o'clock, I got to seriously consider this moment. Because that means I got to take a nap in a day and I got to schedule for it. To be honest with you. So you got to know who your people are, if they really are down to party or not. They're tired of the same music over and over again. They're tired of the same atmosphere, seeing the same people for hours. It's time to go. I got what I came for. Exit. Hey, okay, cool. You know what I got? What I came for a moment is when you throw a birthday party, you cut the cake and everyone leaves. Cool, I got what I came for. It's time to go. That's what I got. What I came. That's why you cut the cake last, because if you know it's a birthday party, you cut that cake first. People are like, all right, cool, party. Oh, party done. Let me go home. And that's exactly what happens. And then you have a hard time keeping them. And then you decide against it. So you know that, for example, birthday party, the cake has to be cut last because people are gonna go home. You gotta know when to put out the food because the people are gonna be hungry, right? And then also too, you gotta switch things up. People's attention span are shorter than ever nowadays. You gotta have like a Coco Melon kind of vibe to your party where like shit is changing every 2 seconds, 2 seconds, 2 seconds, 2 seconds, 2 seconds. And if you have a good entertainment system, a good DJ, a good band, or whatever, then yeah, it's gonna be popping. It's gonna be popping. Okay. Events that feel like everyone is going to end up. Events that feel like they're for everyone end up feeling like they're for no one. You know that saying, if you don't stand for anything, you fall for. If you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for everything. Right? That is so true here. Right? If this event doesn't have a purpose, If this event, and this is even community events going back to what I was talking about before, but the event doesn't have a purpose, if there's no guided missile here, if there's no like, the purpose is intense conversations, the purpose is anything other than uh, what we're saying, what we see, what we're doing, then you're gonna have some, problems, right? If only, and this starts at the invitation phase. If I invite you to something and I'm just like, hey, and we're just having a kickback at my house, and I literally have a couple chairs and stuff like that, well, I said we was gonna have a kickback, right? Now, if I say I'm gonna have, I'm just having a party, blanket, I'm having a party, no design to give you clues or nothing. So they come in, hey, how's everything? They eat two hot dogs, barbecue on the grill, whatever, and then they leave because why am I staying? I don't know what this is about. I don't know what this is for. I'm just showing up because you asked me to be here. I support you. You know? And that's it. Um, so you want to leave with intention. You want to make sure that people are being connected in some kind of way, activity, dance, music, entertainment. You want to make sure that there's no dead zones. There's constant movement, entertainment. Think of Coco Melon. The reason why Coco Melon is bad because it changed kids' attention spans. And you kind of have to do the same thing for events now. In terms of, well, I already shared a little bit about what to do, right? Um, while I was explaining that, so you can go back and listen to that. I'm not going to get into that again. Some fix that I will say though, in terms of these problems to get guests to stay, is the golden hour rule, right? Design the last 45 minutes of the party just as you designed the first 45. First 45 is usually like a cocktail hour. So we're going to have appetizers flowing. We're going to have drinks flowing. We're going to have good music flowing, right? You need that at the end too. And it doesn't mean that you have to have the same thing at the end. You need to tell DJ last 45 minutes need to be strongest. You know, if we're going to serve desserts, we are serving desserts and we're making it a show. If we're going to, good music. We have the food aspect. If we're gonna do dessert drinks or something like a takeaway station or whatever, that needs to come out. It needs to end how it began. Okay. Assign a guest engagement role, not necessarily the greeter. MC, a DJ can greet for you. They can say, "Hey, crowd, da 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 da." They could get on the mic. They could do all of that, right? This is where like a roaming whatever comes in, roaming magician, roaming ballerina, roaming whatever comes about. That's where all of this comes about, right? Speaking of which, I'm having some great ideas for events that I want to do this summer. I'm gonna work on this moment. Don't It's gonna happen. Okay, anyway. Um, so moment anchors, right? Schedule moments that, pull people forward, pull people together, pull people in the event itself, right? And keep them there. So a moment anchor is like, for example, you go to a wedding. A moment anchor is the final kiss, like the kiss. Oh, they kissed. Okay, cool. Right? But a wedding, you already know what to expect. So you kind of like check it off a list. Okay, they kissed. Now ceremony's over. Now we can do this. Now we can do that. Cocktail hour. Da da da. But when you have a birthday party that's free forming schedule based on what you want to do, the birthday cake, the walkout, the entrance, the da 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 da. Right? So you want to have moment anchors that is scheduled perfectly throughout the day, and then you also want to have somebody in the back end, preferably event planner like moi, to make sure these anchors happen on time and as they're supposed to. And then exit experience design, making them leave feeling good, not like a disappearing act. We don't want, I mean, people Irish exit all the time, but we don't want everybody to Irish exit, right? And statistically speaking, somebody's going to make an Irish exit at your event. And that's cool, right? That's cool. It's going to happen. Statistically, it's going to happen. But we don't want everybody, all 200 guests, all 150 guests, or 50 guests, whatever, to make an Irish exit because it's not going to feel good at all. So just making sure that they leave. Oh my God, this was a great party. Oh my God, this was so perfectly planned. Oh my God, nah, 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 nah. And they will feel good about it. Okay. Um, for the client takeaway, one actionable thing um that you can take away, right? And start very small. I think the number one thing is just plan the first 45 minutes of the event and plan the last 45 minutes of an event. If you do nothing else, plan those two. And um let that be. Because once guests start to like dissipate and leave and all this stuff, then they kind of stay around a little bit longer because they're wowed at the end. Fireworks, cold sparklers, whatever you want to do, you could do that at that point. Okay. Um, yeah. So that was my little client corner. So remember, we have the planners hotline. Remember, send in your email, CheyenneL@simplyeevents.com if you need any assistance, assistance, advice, feedback, events related only, people. I don't do relationship stuff. I got my own things to figure out. We can't this ain't that for that. But if you have a question regarding events, starting your own company, starting your own business, you want to plan an event but you don't know how to start, you want to do something in the community but you don't know where to go or what to do, you want even connections. If you need connections to people for certain things, I need a good DJ, I need a good this, I need a good that, hit me up and let me know. Okay, the planner hotline is open. um Thank you so much for hanging out and listening. I'm starting to get a little stuffy. Um, yeah, thank you so much for being here for this episode. I'm so excited about this. I'm so passionate about the community. It's not even funny. You're probably gonna hear me talk about it a little bit more, and I'm also gonna put some. Maybe I'll get some, interviews together with some community people too, in relation to the events people as well. So. If you are a corporate client or you work for a corporate client who needs to put a community event together, hit me up. Okay. Let me know if I can help you with anything. I'm always an extension of your current team. I am not there to take anything over or to do anything that's not a part of your business practices. I am there mainly as a support group for your team. Okay? So hit me up, let me know. Um, and that's all I got for you today. Until next time, thank you so much for tuning in to the 10-Minute Planner.